Welcome back to the Weekly Headlines. I'm Kevin Hart.
I'm Mike Wimmacher.
And let's get to the news. Days after a mass shooting of Asians in Atlanta, CNN's Annie Grayer reported that Rodney Davis said he thinks blatantly racist terms like Kung Flu are acceptable, and similar to saying UK variant to describe COVID. Rodney Davis posted a lengthy reply talking about how CNN misrepresented his words, brought up the baseball game again, and blamed everyone but himself. Well, this isn't surprising considering he voted against House Resolution 151 last month, which condemned all forms of anti-Asian sentiment as related to COVID-19. Tammy Duckworth was not happy, and she said she was going to call him. And if her interaction with Tucker Carlson is any indication, I'd apologize now.
An Illinois House committee advanced a bill that would mandate all public school districts to provide a comprehensive curriculum on sex education for all grades. If the Responsible Education for Adolescent and Children's Health Act, or the REACH Act, becomes law, Illinois would join 30 other states that require sex education. Now, some representatives have some hesitation about the bill, saying it is really a drastic departure from the current sex education requirements, and it deserves a much longer and more in-depth hearing. So what they're saying is we need to go longer and deeper when it comes to sex ed?
Andrew Cuomo, who is working overtime to be the most hated man in America, compared his plight of being accused by 7 women of sexual harassment to that of Emmett Till. Yes, because a black kid being kidnapped by the husband of a woman who lied about him, whistling at her, beaten for hours on end, shot in the head, then thrown in the river. It's the same as Cuomo's inability to face responsibility, right? Yeah. When Joe Biden, yes, that Joe Biden, is saying it's time to step down, read the room, Fredo.
Earlier this week, President Joseph Russia Sucks Biden had some strong words for Russian President Vladimir Putin. When Biden was asked in a recent interview if he thought that Putin was a killer, Biden responded with, "I do." This enraged the best friend of a retired Florida man. Putin quickly responded in his own interview with the Russian equivalent of saying, "I know you are, but what am I?" Good old Pee Wee Putin, ready to go on his next big adventure.
Second time was a charm for Roy Williams Jr. The new Ward 3 alderman was confirmed on a unanimous 9-0 vote. The council rarely, if ever, is that in sync on their voting, as they turned right around and started bickering about paid parental leave for state workers. Now that Roy Williams Jr. is officially Ward 3 alderman, maybe they can get him an official headshot. Please.
Governor J.B. Pritzker announced at a press conference on Thursday that everyone age 16 and over will be eligible to receive the COVID-19 vaccine starting on April 12th. Young people haven't been this excited for a shot since their 21st birthday.
With more and more migrants coming to the border and not enough space to house them, many people are saying it's a disaster. Anyways, Republicans like Kevin McCarthy went to the border and talked about the need for more security, listing off the usual talking points and lies about how Biden's ruining the country, blah, 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 who gives a shit. Boy, those Republican skulls are thick.
How thick are they?
How thick? If these Republicans laid across the southern border, their skulls could probably block immigrants from coming in.
Taxes. No one likes them, but we all have to pay them, and apparently the new administration would like to raise them. Now, before you blow a gasket, according to reports, the rumored possible tax increase will mostly affect corporations and those that make over $200,000 a year. With how upset anyone gets anymore when the word taxes is brought up, it's no wonder that any of the recent attempts to relaunch Robinhood have failed. I mean, how dare someone take from the rich and give to the poor?
WAP, you know what it stands for, was performed on network television for the first time on the Grammys. They couldn't utter the provocative language, but they went all out on the dancing. And I thought it was well done, and I enjoyed it. Of course, many didn't, including baby boomers and Candace Owens, who got into it with Cardi B on Twitter. You can do almost anything on TV but swear. The years have gone. But the FCC stays the same. Bruce Willis can kill half the cast of Die Hard 2, but can't say yippee-ki-yay, mother...
Yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon.
The Chicago Bears finally found themselves a new quarterback earlier this week, and it was not the one that Bears Nation was anticipating. After weeks of reports of the Bears being all in on Seattle Seahawks quarterback Russell Wilson, the Bears went out and signed former Cincinnati Bengal and Dallas Cowboy Andy Dalton. To put this in perspective for all you non-sports fans, this is the equivalent of asking for a PS5 for Christmas and on Christmas morning finding an Atari 2600 under your tree. But, as an aside, I can continue with my terrible Bears quarterback jokes. And those are your weekly headlines. I'm Mike Wimmacher.
I'm Kevin Hart.
And we are out of here!